Hello and welcome. I'm Tommy, and today I'm going to be reviewing this guy, the Logitech G Pro. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about, that I always talk about first, is the marketing material. And for the marketing material for this guy, I think it's actually semi-interesting because almost everything that they say is right on the money, which doesn't happen very often. So I have my script right in front of me that I'm going to be reading off so I don't actually forget anything for you guys. So please bear with me. Anyways, starting first, it is designed with and for esports players. So Logitech actually got together with esports players and asked what they liked the best about their mice, and therefore created the Logitech G Pro mouse. So it uses simple construction of the G100, which was a super popular gaming mouse. It has a classic shape, extra wide scroll wheel, and a high-end sensor for that scroll wheel. I'll get some other close-ups possibly later if I actually remember with my cell phone. It's got a lightweight body and optical gaming sensor that is engineered for unprecedented speed and precision aiming needed at the highest level of esports competition. It uses the PMW3366 sensor, optical sensor, which has got zero smoothing, filtering, or acceleration across the entire DPI range, with exceptional tracking accuracy and consistent responsiveness at any speed. This I can attest to. Pretty much anybody that is on the market for a competitive mouse will say that the PMW3366 is the top of the line sensor right now for optical. Anyways, it's got RGB lighting, as you can see here, right on the back there, and right here. It picked a bad color, so my green screen decided to start playing around with it a little bit. But it's got 6 programmable buttons: that click, the right left click, the center mouse button, this guy, and then these 2 on the side. It's got onboard memory, so you can take this, for example, you can download everything that you want on the mouse, take it with you on the go, plug it into some other person's computer, and it'll have the saved settings on there without you having to download the Logitech software. It's got a superior click response, enhances consistency of the left, right mouse buttons, and helps reduce the force needed to require to click, results in a crisp, reliable click and performance, which is totally true. The clicking and the performance are top notch. And then they, to go more into kind of some of the things that they did, they studied the players to look at what they were doing, such as pro players use an incredibly tight grip on the mouse, and it's all about consistency with their gear. They like to plant their elbow on their desk, and then they use quick snapping movements that they need a lot of consistency, so they need something that was built with speed and strength. So they purposely made this guy as light as physically possible and added extra strength on the sides here for that strong grip, and then they reduced everything they could to make it super light and increase the actual thickness of the walls of the mouse to make it stronger, which is exactly what I said, but in more elegant words. The next thing that I like to talk about is the packaging, which this guy is super simple, but it's also elegant. So on the front here, you've got the mouse. Obviously, you can see that with the Pro logo and the Logitech. On the back here, if you get it in the right light, it says just one purpose: play to win. And then the other thing, it actually lists everything that you need to know, which you can go through, which doesn't seem like a lot of information, but really all you need to know is right there on the box. And right there is the weight, which is super duper light. On the sides, you've got some more specs. And then right here, you've got the Pro. On the bottom, you've got some other information that's like what you need and what's in the box, which is a pro gaming mouse and user documentation. So when we open this, it's nice and simple. Inside, you've got the mouse. I have it plugged in, hence why you don't see that. And then nothing else in the box other than some user information. This guy's saying, hey, you dummy, you need to plug this in and download some software, even though you don't actually have to see software, and you can't see it because my light's blinding the living crap out of it. And then you get this awesome Logitech G. Why is that trying to disappear this? Anyways, logo. So, you know, if you want to just spray paint G's everywhere, you now have the template to be able to do that. So everybody's dream come true. Moving on. We're going to go to the aesthetics of this mouse. It's really simple, honestly, kind of like the name implies. Once again, I may or may not actually do a close-up with my cell phone or not, depending on how lazy. I'm feeling pretty lazy, so I probably actually won't do that. But anyways, it's really thin. To compare it to the G900, that actually doesn't do it justice, but it doesn't actually look thinner, but it is, mostly on that back bump, which is interesting. I totally thought this feels way thinner than this, but I guess that little bump actually gives a lot of difference. That's really interesting to me. The things you learn when you're making a video. On the back here, super simple, very small bump. On the front, you've got some grooves. You've got a really nice scroll wheel right there. And then, of course, the 2 different buttons. So aesthetically, kind of cool, but very boring and plain as well. Moving on to the feel. The left and right click feel amazing. Really, it feels really, really good. It has very light clicking force, though. The right click has a little more clicking force than the left. The scroll wheel is the absolute best ever scroll wheel I've used on any mouse, period, by a significant margin. The scroll is super precise. It feels super good. The rubber is very high quality. When you actually center click, it has this really, really satisfying click as well. And you don't accidentally scroll up or down. You just simply click and it works. However, you can't quick click because the way that it's made just doesn't allow you to actually do that. So that's something to keep in mind. It feels super light and thin. Obviously, I mean, it weighs next to nothing in comparison to every other mouse. It does also feel very strong in the hand. It doesn't feel like you're going to break this, even though it's so light. And when you're moving around for precise movements, that's why it's nice to have a simple and small and lightweight design, is because those little tiny micro movements that you need to get to line up that headshot, this mouse does. It just feels really good to be able to do that. The right and left click has a slight indentation that your fingers fit in nicely. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to show this on the mouse itself from this angle. You can kind of see it, just barely. If you look at the tip right here, you kind of see the U groove, which makes your fingers just feel nice and at home and cuddly with it, along with the rest of the hand if you're using a palm grip. The button in the middle of the mouse, if you click it, has really nice pressure. And that closed my actual script when I did that. The 2 side buttons are the same as the middle button, as the middle click, but with a little bit less force, and it's pretty small. It feels good. I prefer this click. I think feels the better of these two. But I'm glad that this takes less force, because you don't want a whole lot of force for that particular one. But you're not going to be accidentally misclicking any of these buttons at all, except these two, the right and left, because the actuation force to actually click those is incredibly light. Glides super well on my mouse mat. It fits a plethora of different grips just fine. So if you've got a claw, if you've got, I don't even know, the palm, I can't think of any other ones, but it works for all of them. But it is only made for people with small and medium hands. If you've got a large hand, it's not going to work. The next thing that I want to talk about is the specs. So if you've ever used a Logitech mouse ever in your life before, it is pretty much exactly the same. Literally from top to bottom, it's the same exact thing. The only thing that's different is that this bad boy weighs next to absolutely nothing. So other than I don't even feel like I need to talk about specs that much. I will put up the specs right here, and you can pause the video and look if you'd like. The main important ones are that it's 200 to 12,000 DPI. It uses the PMW 3366 optical sensor, which is top of the line. It has a 1 millisecond USB report rate. It is a 16-bit/access USB data format. It's rated for 20 million clicks. It is USB and wired. It is not wireless. The USB protocol is 2.0. What else? There is RGB, there's 6 buttons, there is onboard memory, and it comes in at 83 grams with the mouse only. With the cable, it's a little bit more. So moving on to the personal pros and cons. For the pros, it's lightweight. Like seriously, it's very lightweight. You barely feel that anything is in your hand. The only thing you really feel is that you have something in your hand that you can guide, but you don't actually really feel like you're moving something around other than your hand. It's a weird feeling. It's really nice. I like it a lot. It also feels like your brain is directly drilled into the mouse, and the movements that you're doing are coming straight from your brain, which is a really nice feeling, especially if you're going for that competitive edge, if you know what I mean. Got to get those chicken dinners in PUBG, and this mouse will help you get there. It's incredibly comfortable for small to medium hands. I have medium hands and it fits really well for me. I use palm grip and it feels great. However, my pinky kind of, as you can see, rubs off the side of it just based off of the way that I grab it. So my pinky always kind of rubs against my mat along with the bottom palm of my hand. For some people like to feel their mouse mat. Other people don't. So that's a pro and a con at the same time. This mouse does allow for incredibly precise movements. For sure, my aim has gotten considerably better with this mouse in comparison to the other mice that I have used. My other one that I always play with is the G900. I am going to be pitting these two against each other at some point in the future. So be looking out for that video. I'm not going to mention any more of that right now. I think it is perhaps the best precision gaming mouse that I have ever tried in my life. It's very durable. It does have all plastic and it does have a braided cable. Going into the cons, it has a very light pressure to the left and right click, which makes me accidentally fire at times or multi-click. It's not a big deal. I get used to it, but it's one of those, I've never misclicked more in my entire life with any other mouse. And a lot of people say the G900 has very light actuation force, but this guy has even less actuation force than I think the G900 has, in my opinion. It's also very low profile. Some people are going to say that's a negative. Other people think that that's a positive. If you have large hands, like I said, it's just not going to work for you because your whole hand is just going to eat the mouse up and you're not going to know what to do with the rest of your hand. Unless if you use claw grip, then you'll be fine if you have large hands. I don't know where the heck, once again, I'm supposed to put my freaking pinky along with probably most people that use this mouse. Then going into the mouse rubbing on your mouse pad, pro/con, depending. It's on plastic material. Once again, some people like that, some people don't. Some people like to have rubber on the side of their mouse. This doesn't have it. And the braided cable, some people say that causes extra drag on your actual mouse and stuff. And when you're looking at bungee cables, sometimes because of the braided cable, it makes it really difficult to get that guy to fit. So moving on to my overall impressions. If you're looking for a lightweight precision gaming mouse, look no further. Buy it, but only buy it on sale. I do not think that this is worth $70. I think they purposely mark it up because it has the Pro logo. I'm not saying it's not worth $70, but it doesn't seem like upon first look that it's worth that much money. It has top of the line internals. Everything feels great about this mouse. It's super lightweight. So a lot of people, when they're talking about competitive aiming for first-person shooters and et cetera, they say you need a lightweight gaming mouse that you can snap really quickly. And that's why most people say the G502 is just not a good mouse for that because it's too heavy. This mouse, you're not going to run into it. It's super light. It feels great. The clicks are fantastic. It's super precise with the PMW 3366. I think out of all the housing units I've ever felt the 3366 in, this is the best one. Like I said, I have the G502 Proteus Spectrum. I also had the version before it, and I have the G900. And out of all of them, I think this one houses that sensor the best, although the G900 is really hard to pass up for this one. But you're gonna notice, if you're trying really hard, a big difference if you're using this mouse over using another type of mouse, depending on what you're using. If you already have a 3366 optical sensor on one of your mice, unless if you really want something that's more lightweight or feels a little different in the hand, I don't recommend upgrading to this mouse or downgrading depending on how much you paid for it. So like This one's a $150 mouse. So really, I guess you're downgrading if you buy a $50 mouse or a $70 mouse. I don't know. That's twisted logic. But there you go. Anyways, moving on to the software really quick. It's super simple. I'll jump into it. Let me move my fat head out of the way really quick. And we can talk about the software. That's not the button I wanted. All right, so here we go. Super basic. You click on that, it comes up. You can select if you want the onboard memory or if you want automatic game detection. You go over into the mouse. It has all your DPI settings with the different DPIs. I like 800 DPI. Most pros play between 400 and 1200 DPI, with the mass majority of them being in the 400 category, and then the next majority being in the 800 category. You can choose what you want all of these buttons to do and customize them yourself. You can have different up to 5 levels of DPI switching or just 1. You can choose your report rate right there. When it comes to the lighting sections, you can turn on or off the logo, or when you click off for the lighting effect, it actually, so with the logo, when you turn it off, it turns off the actual logo light and the band on the back. When you turn it on, it has everything. And then if you do off, that's when you get the static color or it rotating. And then when you do the color cycle, that goes through all the different colors, and then the breathing effect, just like it does what it just showed you on the screen. So, and then you can choose the brightness and the rate and how fast it happens, the light sleep timer, so on and so forth. And then over here, you can tune your surface tuning. I've tuned it to my Corsair gaming mat, which works super well. You can have a key heat map, and then going into the other settings, you've got your other notifications. And then if you go into the Pro mouse, you can do angle snapping. And does this device startup effect happen? Is it up to date? So on and so forth. And then the other things. So super basic. It works well. That's all you need to know about the actual software. So that is the end of this video. Like I said, I highly recommend this mouse. I feel like especially if you don't have a gaming mouse at this current conjecture, I highly recommend you buying this one. You're not going to go wrong with this one. A lot of people say it's super basic because it looks basic, but the internals are there and the performance is there. I'm going to be making a performance video. If you want to actually see how well I can perform with this video, it's going to be a totally different video where I run through some what I try to be statistics that you can base off of other mice, and also just seeing where my mouse crosshair and everything is and how well I perform. With that, I will leave you to the rest of your day. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a dislike. And of course, if you've been following my videos for a while, please do subscribe. I've also got a Twitch that I constantly live stream on that you should go follow as well. Anyways, I will see you and your beautiful face on the next one. God bless, and I'll see you later.